What is going on, YouTube? Lamont at large. Today we are at the Garden Park Cemetery here in Conroe, Texas. We're gonna visit the grave of Jake and Elizabeth Reisegg. Jake was a very unassuming man, just like anybody else in life, but it was a very, very kind gesture that he did while he was alive at this very cemetery is the reason why I'm here, and I want to share his story. One of the most touching stories I've read about, and I do read some. Not every story needs to be doom, gloom, and murder. Sometimes it's just a feel-good story that I think that you guys would be interested in. So let's talk about it. Jacob Reisegg was born on November 11th, 1928 in a little town called Slayton, Texas. Well, I'm assuming it's little because I've never heard of it. And later on, he goes to marry his first and only love, Elizabeth Kitten. That was her last name. They get married, and at the time, as a young couple living in Texas, he gets a job at the Santa Fe Railroad. So he does that for a while, and then he gets into the home building business. The family is living in Lubbock, Texas, and then in the 60s they move over to Houston, where he continues to do the home building thing, And then later on, the family settles here in Conroe, Texas. They had 9 children together, 9 children and 16 grandchildren. And for fun and activities, the Reiseggs, they love to go camping on the weekends, go to the beach. They'd go have breakfast with their church members every Sunday. And life was great, being married for over 63 years to the only woman that you ever loved. Now, sadly, Elizabeth passed away in 2014. So I seen the story of Jacob. At that time in 2015 here in Conroe, there was a drought. So oftentimes when there's a drought in your area, the cemetery is not going to water the grounds, probably because the city tells them to do so. And trust and believe, a cemetery, they don't want their grounds looking, grass looking brown or what have you. They want it looking green, pretty much like it does now. But you got to follow the law. You got to follow what the county or the city enforces. But I have a feeling Jake's always been a rebel, because he would come out here every day, visit his wife, and he would water her grave every day. I could only imagine the pain and agony of being with somebody for so many years, and for them to pass away. And death is a part of life. I hate people that say those things because they're just so lame and mundane, but it is true. Those cliche sayings. So he would come to visit his wife and water her grave every day, and he kept it looking nice and green. It was probably one of the very few graves here on the grounds that were green when everyone else's was brown. So one day he's here at the cemetery, and he notices a woman. She's standing at this grave right where I'm at right now, and she's sobbing. She's standing where I'm standing, and he's right over there watering his wife's grave. And after she leaves, he comes over here and he waters the grave. He didn't say anything to her. He just started watering the grave. So every day he would come water his grave, his wife's grave, and then he would also water this grave. And I imagine probably he watered the other graves around here too. So this is the grave of Joseph Villaseñor, Staff Sergeant, U.S. Air Force. He died in a car accident, and his mother was the woman that would come here and visit her son. So one day, his mother is, at the cemetery, and she's just wondering. She says, "Why is my son's grave green and it's like dewy, like wet, and everybody else's is brown?" And I'm not sure how she found this out, but she found out that Jacob right here was watering her son's grave. So the local news affiliate CBS out here, they did a human interest story on Jacob. They called him Jake for short. And they finally met and they talked, and she never knew until then that that man was watering her son's grave. And I seen this story last year, and it was my number one video to do here in Texas. This was the video that I was looking most forward to sharing with you guys. And this is the grave of the Reisegs. This is Jacob and Elizabeth Reiseg. He died just before his 91st birthday. A very compassionate man that did a very compassionate thing. And he was not looking for accolades or kudos or somebody to pat him on the back and say, "Oh, you're doing a great thing." No, they approached him about wanting to do a story, and he did it, of course, but he wasn't looking for, congratulations and stuff like that. He just a kind gesture from one human to another. And like I said, not all my stories have to be gloom and doom. Sometimes it's just a beautiful thing. But only many stories that I just pass through and talk about. That's it. It's a simple story. A very simple story from a not so simple man. And God bless both Elizabeth and Jacob and Joseph over there and the rest. Okay, guys, I am out of here. I'm hitting the road. Be good out there, y'all. Have a good one. Peace out.